Good morning, Ian Crouch with your 8:30 Hunter News update. Staff at the John Hunter and Morisset hospitals will join an hour-long statewide industrial action today. The Health Services Union is accusing the state government of dragging its feet on a promised pay rise. The industrial action does not include doctors or nurses, but will involve paramedics, administration, security, caterers and cleaners. Doctors at the John Hunter Children's Hospital are taking part in an international drug trial aimed at treating and extending the life expectancy of children diagnosed with diffuse midline gliomas, a fast-growing brain tumour. A new combination of drugs has had early success, extending the survival time of patients to 30 months post-diagnosis, where the previous expectation was less than 12. Professor of Haematology and Oncology Research at the University of Newcastle, Matt Dunn, says he's grateful to families in the region who've helped with the trial.
The trial is only possible thanks to the generosity of the families of children diagnosed with this terrible disease who donate their child's tumour to our research. Without these critical donations, we would still be back left with radiotherapy, and no significant advancements would have been made in new therapeutics to tackle this terrible disease.
Lake Macquarie and Maitland are among the top 10 locations in Australia attracting people relocating from capital cities. The latest Regional Movers Index for the March quarter shows employment opportunities and cost of living pressures are driving record levels of movement between major cities and regional areas. Capital to regional migration has risen almost 8%. Chief Economist Kim Horton says the focus now needs to be on improving facilities in the regions.
We were caught short in regions. Nobody really quite predicted this scale of and the rapidity of the change in popularity of regions. So it has created a lot of pinch points in our social infrastructure and housing, amongst other things. So we're really trying to get people to think ahead about let's do better over the next 10 years to resource our regions so that they can grow at the level that they need to.
Health experts are worried Australia is returning to pre-COVID patterns of influenza circulation, and Hunter residents are being urged to get vaccinated. It comes as new figures show more than 70% of Australians remain unvaccinated against the flu. Hunter New England Health has also been warning residents about rising case numbers in recent weeks. Director of Infectious Diseases at Mater Health Services, Associate Professor Paul Griffin, says there are numerous ways for us to avoid getting sick.
While vaccination is perhaps the most important way to protect yourself and those around you from influenza, staying home when you're unwell is really important. Getting tested and accessing antivirals if you're eligible, and even those simple things like social distancing, hand hygiene, cough etiquette, and looking at ventilation, for example, can certainly reduce the risk also.
A possible second story has been put forward by Newcastle Council as a potential option for the city's ocean baths. Work on the pool and promenade areas are well underway, with upgrades to the pavilion part of the final stage of the upgrade. Council wants community feedback on options for the preliminary design and says there's an opportunity to expand community spaces by adding a second story to the northern pavilion, an option recently discussed by the Community Reference Group. The state member for Upper Hunter has issued a call to the Premier to extend funding for active kids vouchers beyond June this year. More than 43,000 vouchers have been used by Upper Hunter residents since 2018. Dave Lazell says as the cost of living continues to go up, it doesn't make sense to axe the program.
Especially when those kids want to play maybe one or two different sports a year, maybe even more. You know, it's expensive for families, and that's why the Active Kids Voucher program is focused on those family budgets and helping out families with their sporting costs.
2NURFM Sport.
Hunter Wildfires coach Scott Coleman says he hasn't looked too much into Shute Shield powerhouses east ahead of their Saturday clash. Coleman says his focus lies solely on rejuvenating his side after suffering back-to-back losses to Southern Districts and Gordon. The Wildfires will be boosted by the return of hooker Hamish Moore from injury, while Alex Polar moves into outside centre. Newcastle rising soccer star Finley Wells has re-signed with German academy Darmstadt SV98. The 14-year-old cousin of Broadmeadows Bailey Wells and son of former Newcastle breaker Scott Wells has signed with the academy's under-15s side. Scott says his son is proud to carry Newcastle's football spirit internationally and would love to return home for the Jets one day. And Newcastle Olympic has defeated Valentine 2-1 in last night's Australia Cup clash. That's sport. I'm Bella Middleton.
And the winning numbers in Oz Lotto are 10, 17, 20, 30, 41, 42 and 43, and the supplementaries are 1, 6 and 14. And now you're up to date with the latest 2NURFM Hunter News.